Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning I want to bring attention to proposed legislation known as the ABLE Act, A-B-L-E. That stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. It's something that's important to me and important to a lot of members of this House. I first filed this legislation 7 years ago, and since then we've come a long way. Today, 377 members of the House are co-sponsors of this legislation. 74 United States senators are co-sponsors of this legislation. There's no piece of legislation in Congress today that enjoys more bipartisan support, more bicameral support than the ABLE Act. Tomorrow, the Ways and Means Committee in the House will take up this legislation, and my hope that they will pass it out with a favorable vote. Just what is the ABLE Act? It's a piece of legislation that attempts to help those individuals with disabilities achieve their full potential. And how does it do that? Well, it allows individuals with disabilities to set up a tax-free savings account. They take that account, it grows tax-free, and they can use the proceeds as long as they meet qualified expenses. Because individuals like that face challenges that you and I can sometimes hardly imagine. They might be medical needs, might be transportation needs, education needs, maybe housing needs. We already allow other individuals to use tax-exempt debt, tax-exempt savings accounts to help them. You want to save for retirement, you can set up a tax-free savings account called a 401k. If you want to set up a tax-free savings account to help you go to college, you can do that through what's called a 529. If you want to help with your health care, you can set up a health savings account. It seems only fair that we level the playing field and allow those individuals the same opportunities. Now, let me introduce you to someone by the name of Sydney Leach. She lives in Jacksonville, Florida. Today, she's a fifth grader at the Crown Point Elementary School. She has Down syndrome. When she was born, her proud mom and dad, Stacy and Jeff Leach, they made a commitment to make sure that she would not only have a happy life, but that she would be able to realize her hopes and her dreams and her full potential. But soon they realized that when you raise a child with Down syndrome, you face challenges that a lot of people can't imagine. Unlike her classmates, she had to have special counseling, behavioral counseling. She had to have special medical care. She needed individual counseling, and so it was difficult. And then her parents found out that if you have security income, if you have Medicaid, you're limited to the amount of assets that you can have in your name to $2,000. And if the parents or loved ones wanted to give her a gift, they jeopardized the care that she needed. And so the ABLE Act seeks to correct those inequities. It says that you can, number one, set up a tax-free savings account, let those proceeds grow. And number two, it won't count against your $2,000 limitation on your assets. You know, this is America, home of the American dream, and individuals with disabilities, they ought to be able to live the American dream just like you and I. They ought to be able to have an education, be able to work on their own if they can. They ought to be able to save for the future. And the ABLE Act allows them to do just that. You know, we live in a great and prosperous country, and sometimes we're called upon to speak out for the people that can't speak out, to stand up and seek justice for those that can't seek justice on their own. And the ABLE Act will have a positive impact on millions of people with disabilities all across this land, and that's worth fighting for. And I hope soon the ABLE Act will become the law of this land. Thank you, and I yield back.